نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. ثم أما بعد، يقول يحيى بن معاذ رضي الله عنه: ما جفت الدموع إلا لقساوة القلوب. ما جفت الدموع إلا لقساوة القلوب. Yahya ibn Mu'adh radiyallahu anh said that eyes did not dry up, but because hearts are becoming hard. Hard hearts, no tears. So if you look at yourself, it doesn't matter what you see, what you hear. You listen to the Quran, you're seeing dead bodies, you pray in funeral, somebody reminding you, somebody crying in front of you, calamities in the world. Eyes are not influenced, they're not affected. You don't cry. You don't even get wet eyes. Check the heart. When the heart is hard, eyes dry up. ثم قست قلوبهم من بعد ذلك فهي كالحجارة أو أشد قسوة. Piece of flesh, which is the heart, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said it gets harder than a rock. Reality. That's exactly what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about Bani Israel. After all the signs, look what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed them. The miracles that He showed them. Nothing changed. It didn't affect them. Because the heart are hard. Tears are so valuable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. الدموع غالية عند الله سبحانه وتعالى، وخاصة دموع الصالحين. حتى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بكى عند سماع القرآن. رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم, when he told Abdullah ibn Mas'ud to recite, and he recited from Surah An-Nisa, then when he arrived to the saying of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَكَيْفَ إِذَا جِئْنَا مِنْ كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ بِشَهِيدٍ وَجِئْنَا بِكَ عَلَى هَؤُلَاءِ شَهِيدًا. He told Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, حسبك, good enough. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said, I lifted my head, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, eyes shedding tears. بكى الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم عند سماع القرآن. فالدموع غالية، دموع الصالحين خاصة. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He mentioned the righteous people and the prophets, then the quality that He mentioned, He said, إِذَا تُتْلَى عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُ الرَّحْمَنِ خَرُّوا سُجَّدًا وَبُكِيًّا. When they hear the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they fall in sujood and tears. But what happened after that? Why they don't cry anymore? فَخَلَفَ مِن بَعْدِهِمْ خَلْفٌ أَضَاعُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَاتَّبَعُوا الشَّهَوَاتِ. Those who came after them, they did not pay too much attention to salah, and they followed their desires. That's why they say, إِذَا رأيت نفسك متبع للشهوات فاعلم أنك مضيع للصلوات. If you see yourself going after everything you wish and you like, then know for sure your salah is not done properly, or you're not praying at all. كثرة الذنوب من كثرة العيوب. Too much sins because you have too much defects. Tongue is not observed. You speak without limits and without control. Eyes are not controlled. Ears, you listen to anyone, backbiting, slandering, music, you name it, everything. Those ears listen to anything. Halal, haram, no big deal. Those eyes look at everything. Haram, halal, no big deal. Heart, sincerity is barely there. Stinginess, you worship money. Or money is everything. When it comes to doing good with it, you're the farthest. So too much defects leads to too much sins. And too much sins leads to the hardening of the heart. And hardening of the heart leads to no tears. So it was said, I believe Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu said, إِذَا لَمْ تَبْكُوا فَتَبَاكُوا. If you can't cry, then cry. Force yourself to cry. Cry because you can't cry. Get it? يعني حالتك بتحزن. ابكي على حالك. Cry for yourself. Yourself is pathetic. You should be crying for it. And that is so evident nowadays. Hardly you find people touched. The Prophet ﷺ said, عينان لا تمسهما النار. عين باتت تحرس في سبيل الله وعين بكت من خشية الله. If this or these eyes shed tears when you reflect on the Day of Judgment, when you think of this life, when you think of yourself and your shortcomings, you cry. Fire will not touch those eyes, meaning it will not touch you. Under the shade of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what? رجل ذكر الله خاليا ففاضت عيناه. A person just sitting, reflecting, thinking of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, himself, the world, life, Day of Judgment, and then he started to tear. This person in the shade of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So never belittle the tears, even if it's just one. It weighs heavy in the scales. And if you want to have it, then make sure you watch yourself and watch your actions. Every time you sin, a dot, black dot is put in your heart. What does that do eventually? Seals the heart. What happens to the heart? Becomes like a rock. It's like Allah. Who's Allah? Quran, what's the big deal? Hadith, what's the big deal? Nothing makes sense to you. Nothing affects you. And you will never shed. And what causes that? Sins. So don't come and tell me it's a small sin. A small sin, another small sin, another small sin closes your heart and you end up with a sealed heart. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and soften our hearts and soften our eyes. Help us really cry. Wallahi, if a person cries, reflection of the Quran, listening to the Quran, reflecting on yourself, it cleans your heart. Wallahi, it's like your heart filthy, and when you cry, it washes it. You feel so good and so fresh after it. I'm sure each and every one of us did that once in their life. I cannot say that we don't, we do, but you know how it feels. That is the difference between crying, our crying from a person makes us feel bad. But when you cry reflecting on yourself and this religion, the Day of Judgment, it makes you feel good. So when we fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we cry, it's happiness. But when you fear a human being and you cry, it's sadness. Major difference between the two. And that's what people don't understand about this wonderful religion. When you are at awe from the day of judgment, you feel wonderful. When you are not, you feel horrible. So the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the fear of the day of judgment is a source of happiness. Just like remembering death brings happiness. Why? Because it makes you not sin and it makes you do good. And those two will soften your heart. And those two will get you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And those two help you shed tears. And that is absolute happiness. So think of that. And inshallah, get there. Say astaghfirullah. Start doing good. Watch yourself. And inshallah, you'll get there. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك بارك الله فيكم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته بسم الله